opportunities are abound, but people just nervous. I don't know why.
Yeah, you gotta jump on it.
Yeah, you have to, I'm trying to determine why people are so nervous to, I can understand when you have commitments and you're committed in another sense.
Yeah.
Because if you have a business which require full attention, then yes, you can't be looking over here, looking at it. You have to have the time to
focus.
Your focus, right? But if that is done now, and the thing about it, Don, is that if our backs are against the wall, we excel like crazy. When your back is against the wall and you have no other choice, trust me. Well, why we have to wait until our backs are against the wall? You know?
Yeah.
Don't wait.
Hey guys, this is Donville from the One Pop Podcast. This is episode 63.
It's your boy Trev.
And it's your boy CN.
I don't like the "it's your boy" thing. I never like that.
Say it's CN.
It's CN. Well, I mean,
no, I said it too.
Yes, sir.
Why I said that?
I don't know.
Yo, guys,
We're men.
And we're men. Guys, I would say this. I told you last week. This week's gonna be a special week. For definitely what we have prepared. For the last 2 weeks, guys, I've had the opportunity to listen to some very profound people speak. Right? I guess in the selfish term of it, I've always had my father-in-law, Mr. Newell, talk to me, and try not to ever take it for granted. And we're going to get to the meat of that. I had the chance to listen to Trevor Noah speak, a wonderful interview, and also with Byron Allen, and
Great interviews.
But they're talking about what the future lies and what opportunities ahead and how do we access it. Today, I want to do a special introduction for my father-in-law, Mr. Newell, because in the sense that Mr. Alvin Newell is a visionary, a pioneer. He's driven. I've yet, and I'm using the word strongly, I've yet to see him try to do something that he has yet to fail, that everything is consistently an accomplishment. And you would think with all those accolades and accomplishment, the drive stops. It never stops. He always finds new ways to reinvent himself and new ways to create new opportunities. And for this week, it's going to be a special treat. So with further ado, guys, I want to introduce you to Mr. Alvin Newell.
Hey guys, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever in the world you may be listening to us from. Thanks, Ian, for that intro. It's my pleasure to be here with you this evening and to share with you my knowledge and information. Nothing is off the table. If it's infringing on certain areas I don't want to go into, I'll let you know. But no holds bars this evening, guys. So let's go for it.
Please do. Don. Do me a favor. I want you to start out the interview because I would say this. I think you have the most profound questions that will definitely get us going.
You know, I like to deep dive, get in there, right? So, Mr. Newell, we know a lot about you. You know, I've known you for years and years, probably over a decade. But we want to get real personal. And let's start off with, you grew up in Jamaica, born there also. How was your professional life in Jamaica? How did it start?
Well, it started at an early age. I straight out of high school, I was employed by the technological company there, the Jamaica Telephone Company. So, straight out. After being employed by them, I continued my education. I did not stop then, right? So, but straight out of high school, I was employed because they probably saw something in me that I didn't know existed. So, and during my employment, I excelled, through technician ranks right up into management. So yes, it was a good time there.
Wow. So so we get to transition to the part where you moved to the United States. How was that as far as the transition from Jamaica coming to the U.S.? assimilating and even just adjusting?
Well, it's probably gonna take more than one podcast, one session for me to go into all of that. Right?
All that, right?
So all of that. But I'll try to summarize it somewhat in that when you know what it is that you want, it's rather easy, because all you have to do is to identify the things that will get you, or the vehicle that will get you to where you want to go. So I'm a technologist, my profession is telecommunications. So naturally transitioning from Jamaica to the United States, I naturally would progress into that area. So of course, everything is technologically driven these days. So, it wasn't very difficult for me, I must say, in making a transition, because I had the background then. It's just a matter of continuing in that area.
Definitely.
All right, so let me jump in. So, Mr. Newell, my question is, what would say took you from Jamaica and made you take a look into the United States of America?
Thanks for that question, Sienna. That's a very profound question. So, yes, while I was having a successful career in Jamaica, I had a young family then, right? The young wife, I had two beautiful girls at the time. And when I look out, there were no future for my kids back home. While I was progressing, while I was doing good, the generation that was coming up, things were getting bleaker and bleaker for them. So I got the opportunity to transition to the United States, and I took it. The opportunity was there, and I said I can't be selfish, because you can't be selfish in life, right? As good as I had it then, I know that my kids would have a struggle. So I was always looking a better life for them. Everything I do is for them, really. It's not for me.
That's good. Yeah. And it's funny that you bring that up, because like my family, we migrated to the United States around a similar time, around 92, 93.
Yes, 92.
And it was a similar situation. So I had, lots of cousins. I'm the oldest sibling in my family, so I was the only child at the time. But I saw the impact of what that migration did to my cousins. I have cousins that work at Facebook, have PhDs in nuclear physics, that are nurses, that are doctors, very successful. And at the same time, I have cousins in Jamaica that are struggling, that had the same level of intelligence, could easily come to America and sky was the limit for them. But because they couldn't make that move, it kind of held them back, and they're kind of stuck in that rut. So, I mean, to just, back up the point you were saying, it was at that time, I think you had the vision, and it proved that, it was needed to migrate to the United States specifically.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, guys, is that the educational system is not subpar, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you that it's
Definitely.
not. It's not because of educational opportunities there. It's more monetary than anything else, right? And on opportunities. So. At the time, Jamaica was struggling under the weight of the IMF, and a lot of things were happening.
Yep.
The government didn't have enough resources to spread around to introduce certain programs, so they have to be concentrating on paying back the IMF. I can tell you right now that Jamaica is booming right now. Right?
Oh, it is.
Jamaica is booming right now. They're recognized as one of the fastest growing economy in the world right now. This present day. So.
I know at the time, like my father and my uncles, they worked into the bauxite industry,
right?
And the United States, they really did suck out a lot of that resource, that natural resource, out of Jamaica. And I know that was part of the economic downfall,
right?
At the time.
Yeah, because you see, the prime minister before the one that at that time, they made some changes in the remittances of what we could get for our bauxite.
Yeah.
Because the prime minister was of the thought that all these natural resources were being taken out, so we should be handily compensated for that. Well, of course, you talk about the situation of holding the handle and who holds the blade, right?
Yeah.
Well, Jamaica was holding the blade at the time, and the powers that be here in the United States were holding the handle.
Yep.
So they really, we couldn't. It wasn't a successful move. Let's put it that way for the country at the time. Moreover, the IMF coming to the play, they demanded repayment of certain loans, and they put very, very tough austerity measures on us at the time. So, but yeah.
And I'm happy you brought it up, Mr. Newell, because if I do remember, I think the Prime Minister at that time was Norman Manley. Michael Manley. And I do know that the IMF had a lot also for the fact that Michael Manley decided with Castro, America utilized that area, the financial area, and put a strong strain on Jamaica as well, because as you and Donville both stated that you guys kind of migrated around the same time, and based on what Jamaica was going through, I think that was the best bet, because even I would say I migrated about 10 years later based on the time frame, because you guys were in the early 90s, and we were still facing some of those devastation. The 2000s has been pretty good for Jamaica. Jamaica is booming currently right now, but the struggles that was going on then, it made it hard for anyone to see structure or value in the country, because I had friends, and Donville, you stated something that was very important, in the fact that they had education like a neurosurgeon, but still couldn't do anything with it. And for me growing up, it was all about CXC subject. I'm not sure if anybody probably hear that, but it's like getting like your GSATs or something here. But the CX, you had people who had these amount of college credits, right? That if they took it to the country like a United States, and if it was accepted at the moment, they would have gone into nice, profound jobs. So the fact that our education was great, but we didn't have nowhere to thrive.
Yeah, no outlet.
It hurted us a lot.
Yeah.
Interesting. And we'll touch back on that later. I don't want to.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to get, because there's some things I want to talk about with that as well.
Yeah.
But let's get back to like the 1990s and your move to Miami, Mr. Newell. I know you guys went through Hurricane Andrew. As soon as you guys got to the United States, how was that, and what opportunities did you see even through that storm?
It's very ironic that we migrated to the United States August of 1992, and what struck in August of 1992?
Hurricane
Andrew, right? It pretty much wiped Miami off the map, at the time. So, of course, there was no job at the time, nobody employed, because everything was all infrastructure was damaged.
Yeah.
So having my telecommunication background, I put that to use, because in the process, what got damaged during the hurricane, all the telecommunication infrastructure,
lines go down.
Everything, all the telephone lines were down. So at the time, DirecTV was becoming popular. So I saw an opportunity, and I went around and started installing small TVROs, we call them TV receive only, in homes and businesses, and I made that a niche for myself down there. So it was really good at the time. It came in really, really, really handy.
That's good.
So
and this is a common theme I'm always seeing with you, where you're not just identifying opportunities, but capitalizing on those opportunities when you see them.
It's very important. That's very important to you. A lot of times we see opportunities and we don't capitalize on it, right? You can only benefit from opportunities if you take hold of it, right? I think the saying says opportunity comes knocking, right? So it's just for you to open the door. What if the opportunities knock on your window instead, right? So, right?
Yeah, you gotta be ready regardless.
You gotta be ready too, right? So it doesn't only knock on the door; it also knock on the windows, right? So you must be able to recognize opportunity when it is knocking, and take up all of it.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean that's very profound that you said that, Mr. Newell. So based on the opportunity, the question I would ask is, how was your adjustment to the corporate structure in the United States versus the corporate structure in Jamaica?
We talk about education in the early part, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not that we have subpar educational system in Jamaica, because all the courses that are taught there are taken straight from the universities and colleges here in the United States, right? So I was privy to be exposed to a lot of that training prior to. So even working for the Jamaica Telephone Company there, all our courses, all our management courses were courses that were taught here in the colleges and universities here. So, the training I already had, right? So it wasn't an issue. The technical ability I had, so that wasn't an issue either. So, I might say I was lucky or I was fortunate or whatever the case may be, but it's just I was, transitioning from Jamaica to the United States is not a problem really, and it goes right across the board because I have several colleagues who are in similar situation. Yeah, our engineers and technicians are highly sought after here in the United States. Whenever you any of them migrate to the United States and they say, "Oh, I'm from Jamaica. You work with the telephone company," they're hired on the spot. Wow! Because employers here knows of our reputation. Yes, we are hard workers. We are knowledgeable, and we don't. We go the extra mile. Mile all the time.
And it's funny that you're saying all this, and this is in the 90s. Yes, where the internet wasn't as prevalent as it is now. You think about nowadays, the amount of information that's available on a global scale is even more. Where I've seen it where Stanford and even Harvard, they have courses that are available for free online that people could take. Yeah, that's correct. That's available to everyone in the world where they can use that information. That's right. And another thing that someone always told me is that success isn't, luck is not something that just is out of thin air. It's what happens when your opportunity meets someone that's prepared. That's right. So you use that education to prepare yourself. See us bigging me up on that, but it's very important to use that education that's available to prepare yourself, so that when that opportunity does come, you're able to capitalize it. And whatever they call it, luck. It's really you being prepared for it. Look, it's a simple matter of I like to say burning the midnight oil. Yeah. Right. I've done that many a times. Right. If you really want to move ahead, you have to be prepared to make those sacrifices because it's gonna pay off in the end. Right. It's they talk about burning the midnight oil. I've stayed up many nights. Right. Yes. I remember in one instance we and this was in the could have been late 70s, early 80s, right? Jamaica used to host a lot of conferences. A lot of countries used to come to Jamaica for conferences back then. Wow! And so the telephone company had to provide telecommunication services for all the reporters that covers those conferences back to their home country. International, right? The G7, G8, all of those conferences used to be held in Jamaica. And I remember back then as a young technician, we had a brand new piece of equipment. No one else on the island knows anything about it because we bought that specifically to get back then it wasn't even fax similarly at the time. It was a machine we called teletype, where the reporters would literally go on it and type, and you have a ribbon that comes out the side, and they put that in their feed and send it off to the more like a telegram of sort, right? Okay, yes. So that was my era that I worked in, and this piece of equipment was to be able to take that information, modulate it onto our telephone lines, send it overseas. No one else knew. Wow! And I stayed up the entire night trying to figure that thing out, and inside out. Yeah. Like the morning when we went back to the hotel, and my manager at the time, my supervisor at the time said, "We have a problem." I said, "No, I got this." And said, "What do you mean you got this?" I said, "Well, I stayed up all night." He said, "You stayed up all night?" Yeah. I said, "Yeah, I stayed up all night because," and that's just me. My wife will tell you, once I'm intrigued by something, I'm not gonna give up. Yeah, you want to pick it apart, figure it out. Yeah. Yep. So as an engineer, I disassemble things to reassemble it just to figure out how it works. Yeah. That's just me. That's good.
That is,
wow, I'm just taking that in. Like, that's amazing.
So, guys, that's definitely something to soak in. I'm sitting here listening to Mr. Newell speak, and my positive thought for later on is just sticking out. It's sticking out at me in so many different ways. Dalva said when art means preparation, and Mr. Newell said burning the midnight oil. I don't think that is such a very strong comparison based on what it takes to get things going. Because I would say this, there's nothing that I've ever done that I've actually gotten good in or been successful at that it didn't take my time, which we call burning the midnight oil.
Yeah.
But the knowledge that I've gained before, which should have been my art, it helped me be prepared for a situation. So it shows you how you can tie these small little gems together to create opportunity of success. That is very, very profound.
Definitely. That midnight oil, that's the, what is it, 10,000 hours they talk about? You got to invest the 10,000 hours to be really called a professional. I mean, you see it from people that are starting to even professional athletes like Usain Bolt, just and Michael Phelps, just to name a few. These are people that are at the top of their league, but they still put those hours and hours into perfecting their craft.
No gain without pain.
Exactly.
Gain without no pain.
So what I realized is that there is the entrepreneurial spirit in you. You know, I get that immediately just from talking to you. How did that? What was the? Because we all, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is we all get comfortable in the corporate structure, right? But what was the moment where it's flipped for you, where you said, "I really got to put the effort and time into this entrepreneurship rather than just the corporate," you know?
So you gotta look around, right? You gotta look around, and I earlier on in my circle, moving with certain people, you hear they saying that, show me who your company and I tell you who you are.
Yeah.
If you hang around with 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th. All these little idioms, right? So so I always wonder why. I mean, what they mean by that, and I realized that if you hang around with people who are of like mind, then you can always bounce ideas off. Because I've gotten some serious ideas from people just by bouncing things off them. People who are entrepreneurs like myself, right?
Yeah.
People who are forward thinking, right? So but at the same time, if I was hanging out with Joe Schmo at the corner and I bounce something off, it may discourage me, right? Right?
Hit the wall and fall down.
So what are you thinking about? So not anything against Joe Schmo on the corner, guys, because I have some Joe Schmoes on the corner. Because you have to have friends in every realm, eh?
Of course,
right? So you have to have friends and companions in everything that you do. But at the same time, you have to know what is it that you want, what is it that will gonna get you. Because my thing at all earlier on, I should have been retired at 50. I always tell myself I'm gonna be retired at 50.
Yeah.
Because I've already heard about the 40-40 plans, right?
Yep.
And it's no mistake why we work for 40 years, 40 hours. All of those, the 40 hours a week, those are design plans to keep us in check.
In the machine.
The machine, right? So I'm saying I'm not going to conform. I was never a conformist, right?
Yeah.
I will toe the line, right? I know. I'm not gonna do anything that is derogatory, anything out of the ordinary, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm a conformist. I don't break the law. I do everything by the books, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, you have to think outside the box. That's what I should have really said. Not that I'm not a conformist. You have to think outside the box.
Be able to think outside the box.
You have to be able to think outside the box, right? Because why is it that I have to work 40 hours a week, right? Why is that 40 hours? You know what I'm saying? Why not 10?
Minimum.
Why not 20? Why not 60? Why the 40? But it's a plan that was designed for us. And I realize I've heard so many people, talk about working all their life, and at the end of it, they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
I say, I'm going to fall into that trap. Yeah. So naturally, I'm not hitting a job guy. We all need a job, right? Because the job is seed money. Right?
That's true.
A job should be seed money to move you towards your goal, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it. You heard it said all the time. It is the C-grade students that employ the A-grade students, right?
That's true.
You think about it.
That's very
You
true.
look across all industries, all the major business owners are either college dropouts, right, or they didn't complete college, right?
That's true.
Bill Gates, you can go right down the line.
Oh yeah.
Right, these guys didn't finish college, right? So it's not to say that college is bad, but you don't have to finish college to be able to think about an idea and put it into practice, right? So entrepreneurship, I would encourage everyone. And as you said, Don, earlier on, we come from a society where everyone is an entrepreneur. Everyone, right?
That's
everyone in Jamaica, they always be thinking about how you can make the next dollar, right?
That's very true. I
And
mean,
from
I even had a grandmother. Man, I remember every time I go to her house, she have the little bag of juice.
Yeah, something.
She have like in front of the yard. She have a little shop basically.
Yeah.
She'll sell socks.
Everything.
Anything she could look.
And they'll tell you it's just to make ends meet, right?
yeah, just a little extra,
but it's entrepreneurship.
Yeah, always had that spirit.
So, so we're fortunate from a young tender age to see that in our adults, that entrepreneurship, and it's some of us take it, some don't, but that's all right. So
yes.
Yeah.
So I heard you've been getting into this Forex thing. I know Cian has been talking about it a lot. So I know he's excited to get to it. So Cian, let's talk about Forex, because I'm interested. I'm a business guy. I'm a numbers guy.
Yes.
I like to see the setup, and I like to see how I can contribute. So let me know what it's all about.
Well, I mean, I think Mr. Newell will be able to dive in deeper than anything else based on what I can come with, in the sense that Forex to me is the financial revolution that the world's been waiting for at this moment. And not saying I would not be able to do it any justice, because foreign exchange is exciting me. It's changing my life. But before, I think that the best way to get information is to go to a source. So I thought the best person that I known who has the most knowledge, who's part of foreign exchange, who knows, and I won't even use the word a thing or two, because a thing or two will be just a small abstract, or scratch the surface of what Mr. Newell can bring to the table. So I want to turn this part over to Mr. Newell so he can be able to explain to us what the financial revolution is.
Well, guys, first let me say this disclaimer first, right? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to give financial advice. I can only share with you my personal experiences, right? So, so I got started in Forex 2 years, September gone 2 years ago, right? I did not think about Forex prior to getting involved. I know about stocks. I used to, buy stocks and things. I've always wanted to know more about foreign exchange, because I've always wondered why, whenever I go to the bank, the price at which they'll buy my currency from me for is not the same price they'll sell it back to me. They'll always be selling it for me more, right? Yeah. And they buy it from me at a lower price. And why? Why is that?
That's
right?
true.
I mean, what drives that? What drives the difference, right? So I was always intrigued by that, So I've always been in the back. I won't say it was all on the forefront, because that foreign exchange, because my first research on it, I realized that it was very expensive to get into. If you didn't have thousands and thousands of dollars, you couldn't. It's not something I could do it, because one lot is $100,000, right?
Oh wow!
Yes, yes, one lot is $100,000. So I didn't have that strength of cash. I didn't have those cash. So it was always in the back, though, right?
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, a good friend of mine, a ex Wall Street banker, called me. Actually, I did did him a favor, and he called me and said, I have this thing I want you to take a look at. And I've always been open. That's another thing. As an entrepreneur, you have to be always be open. Right? Always be listening. You don't because you don't know. The next someone may be pitching the next best thing to you, and if you are not open, you will not receive it, right? So you must always, regardless, you must know whether or not it's something that you can take on at the time,
Yeah.
Or you can,
Pass on
revisit it another time. So he called me and he said, I have this thing I want you to look at. And I said, what is it? And he says, Forex. I said, Forex? He said, yes. I said, all right, fine, no problem. I'll look at it.
Yeah.
And if you know me, when I look at things, I don't just look at it. I really look at it.
Take it apart.
Right?
Open it up.
Yeah. That's me. This is engineer in me.
Yeah.
I gotta see what makes it tick, right? I gotta know what makes it tick, so to speak. So I'm blessed with that ability to quickly make assessments of things, right? I can quickly assess things. Yeah. And when I looked at it, I said, these guys, are they serious? Because the thing is that I know that in order to get training in Forex, in order to trade Forex, you're talking about $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for a weekend session. Yeah, for a weekend session. And the price at which they were offering the training is actually training. They don't trade for you. They train you, teach you how to trade, and then you open an account with your broker and you go trade.
Yeah.
Right. That's the gist of the whole thing. And I looked at it and I'm saying, are they serious? So I started to dig further. Of course, my curiosity was aroused. I started to look further and I'm saying, no, these guys can't be serious.
Yeah.
And I called my friend back, right? And I said, how do I get started? Right?
All right.
And they said, I'll get back to you. And I said, no, how do I get started?
Yeah.
And this was probably about 11:30 at night, right?
Oh, wow.
Yes. So actually, I got started on Friday night, but by the time I pushed the button, it rolled over to the Saturday morning. So my start date was technically on a Saturday.
Okay.
And once I got started, right, I went through the training nonstop right through until the Sunday evening. I did not leave that computer. Right. So when I called him back and I said I'd finished the training, he said, nah.
It's like, what?
I said, yeah, I was able to print out the certificate because at the end you get a certificate. I was able to print the certificate, and he said he could not believe. Right up to now, they use my feet as a prop, right? Because I sat there, and having done that, right. And that's just me. When I'm going after something, I don't relent. I just go, right? It's just like getting this job here in Melbourne. Where are we at? What is it? Where we are? Oh, good. Okay, right. I mean, you have to be able to look out and know what's happening and go for what you want, right?
Yeah, you gotta have vision.
You gotta have vision. So I got started September 2017. And did the training, and I have some early success and some early hurt. Right?
Of course,
right?
Learning opportunities, right?
Yes. So, and that's exactly what they are. They're not losses; they're just learning opportunities. That's all they are, right? You got to learn from them because. And I tell people all the while, when you learn to ride a bike, when you fall off the bike the first time, you don't stop, right? You get up, you brush off your knee, and you get up back on. But once you master it, that's it. You always be riding, and you pick a bike up and you jump on it, you ride off, right? So I got some early successes and some early hurt. Well, I said hurt. I mean, it was devastated, right? So. My wife at the time says, honey, you did it once, so you can do it again, right? Yeah. So, and guys, that's my wife. We got married in 1979, so that, go figure, do the math.
Yeah,
you see how long we've been together, right? So I took a step back, and I was really gun shy. Talk about gun shy.
Yeah,
I was really gun
really
shy.
Cautious.
But of course, that's me. I said, hey, this thing is, I've done it already. I can do it again. And I started relearn, retool, so to speak.
Yep.
And I really came back and started. And within March, April, May, June, July, within 6-7 months, I was a 7-figure trader.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Man, so the only thing I could, the gears are rolling in my mind. The only thing I could really align this with is the stock market, because I do have a trading account. I do trade.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really similar to the stock market? What are the similarities and differences? If you could break that down.
It's trading. It's risk, right?
Yeah.
Just like the stock market is, right? There's risk involved, and we recommend that you only risk capital that you can afford to lose. Don't go risking your rent money, your mortgage money, or those type of money. Just risk money that you can afford to lose, because the possibility is that you can lose that money. But if you have the right training, it trains you how to minimize those losses and how to minimize those risks, right?
Yeah.
So the stock market, in a sense, yes, you trade stocks. When you trade stocks, you actually purchase a piece of that company, right? That's trading stocks. But so you can trade it, you can buy and sell it, which is what most brokers do these days. So you don't take possession of the certificate, you leave it there with the broker, because once you sell it, then they have to give that certificate to someone else. Forex is a little different in that you trade one country's currency against the other. Think of it like this: when here in the U.S., right, when we buy goods or we get services from Japan, we cannot pay for those goods or services in United States dollars. So we have to convert that dollar to yen so we can pay the Japanese in their currency. Same thing with British pound or Italian lira, or is lira in Italy, right? Or is it pesos in Mexico?
Yep.
The Swiss franc and things like that. So we have to convert our local currency to those currencies, right? Now, the banks have devised a system where they, on a daily basis, right, they carry out those transactions. So that's why when you go to the bank, they'll buy your exchange from you at a lower rate and they sell it back to you at a higher rate. That spread, that's how they make the money.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what the Forex market is. So remember I said earlier on, it was very expensive to get in there, because you can imagine the banks, $100,000 per lot. One lot is considered $100,000. If you want to trade two lots, it's $200,000. Yeah. Right. So the regulations, everything is deregulated since the advent of the internet. And with the advent of the internet, we have what we call retail brokers. So retail brokers now, it gets us, the retailers, into the market. Now, unlike the stock market, where it has a physical location, because we all know that the New York Stock Exchange is there on Wall Street. Yep. It's physical. In London, the FTSE is right there on wherever it's at. Yeah. In each country, they have a location where the stock market is.
Yeah, where trades actually occur.
Where the traders go to trade.
Yeah.
Forex is not like that. Forex is an electronic communication network. It's an interbank network. It's a network within the bank, within all the central banks of the different countries. Yeah. So the central bank of the U.S., the central bank of Great Britain, Germany, Japan, there's a network within those banks, right?
Yes.
And so all the central banks get to play in that network, and big hedge fund managers get to play in there. So with retail brokers, it's like an on-ramp to that network. Okay. Right, so we get to open an account, right, with the retail broker, and we get to trade in the same market or on the same system that the banks are trading.
I got it. Right? So when you talk about creating that account, you're actually creating an account into the Forex market through the retail broker, kind of like how you would with E-Trade to the stock market.
That is correct. That's definitely correct.
So when looking at the stock market, we kind of look at data points like trends, company revenue, profit, all these different data points. What data points do you look at in just a high level? What data points do you look at in the Forex market to kind of see where these countries' currencies are going?
So there are three types of traders, right? There's the fundamental trader, there's the sentimental trader, and there's the you should know. The sentimental, the technical, right? Technical, fundamental, and sentimental, right?
Yeah.
So the technical trader looks at all those data points. The current price, where it has been in the past, where it possibly can go in the future. And you know that those prices are going to be affected by the fundamentals.
Yes.
What is happening within the country, the economic situation in the country. Are they having a lot of turmoil in the country? Are they selling a lot of goods to other countries? You know, what's economic outlooks, right?
The unemployment rate.
Unemployment rate, things like that, right? So those are the data points that we use to determine. And the thing is, unlike stock markets, the movements in these currencies don't have to be a lot for you to make a lot of money, right?
Really?
Right. They talk about pips, right? And if you talk just the word pips, right? But actually, it stands for, is an acronym that stands for profit interest point, right?
Yeah. So
they're moving pips, right? And that's really what you really call it to make money in Forex. While the price of a stock has to appreciate, has to go up if you're buying it, or it has to go down if you're selling it, right?
Exactly.
Same thing. The price of currencies go up, currencies come down.
Yep.
But the movements, the slight movements can make you a lot of money, or can lose you a lot of money too.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And with it being a global market, is it open 24/7?
Oh yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Wow.
So you're perfectly right. So unlike the stock market that closes at 5:00 every evening.
Yep, Monday, Friday.
Yeah. The Forex market is 24/5.
Wow.
Yeah, it's open 5:00 on a Sunday evening, and 24 hours Monday through Thursday, and closes 5:00 on a Friday. So they don't trade unless you're trading crypto. So there, in addition to Forex, there's also cryptocurrency.
Wow. So now,
yes.
crypto is something I'm very interested in, because that's an opportunity that I missed out on.
Well.
Like literally, I think it was it was really early on in crypto, because I'm a technology guy and I'm just into new technology.
I'm fascinated by that.
And man,
Yes.
it must have been. It was probably $20, Mr. Noel.
Yeah.
$20 for a Bitcoin.
Bitcoin, yeah.
This time I was looking into it, and it was funny because I did end up purchasing after it was. I think it was at 100, probably 100 and something.
Right.
I did purchase part of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, right.
And I still have it in my account actually. Just to watch it, just to see it go up. I'm like, wow,
Value probably about $3,000-$4,000 now, right?
it looks nice. It's nice to look at. I'm not touching it. I'm just like, oh,
Yeah,
that
let's
looks nice,
because it's gonna go back up. So
Yeah.
crypto is the digital currency, and that's the way of the future. Because with all that is happening around the world, think about this: country like Venezuela, right?
Yeah.
There's a blockade against Venezuela right now, but life still goes on in Venezuela. How do you think they're able to buy and pay for goods and services?
Cryptocurrency. They have
Cryptocurrency.
to.
That's what they're using, right?
Yeah.
And you have a lot of locations that will allow you to get into the market by taking your dollars converted to cryptocurrency, and you can use that and pay for goods and services. A lot more merchants are propping up all over the place now who are accepting cryptocurrency.
Even so, because not to cut you, Mr. Noel, Facebook actually created their own cryptocurrency called Libra.
Yep.
So it shows you how defined it is, based on the advantages and the structure. Because when you talk about the stock market being closed, if the foreign exchange market will never close. For example, even if one country, even if there's a world war and one country goes in turmoil, as long as there's another sustaining country or two sustaining country, there will be trading.
Yeah.
Because the one of the biggest thing about Forex was actually created based on the bartering system.
Yeah.
That is the most profound thing, because we talk about the exchange of goods or products nowadays, right?
Yeah.
When the bartering system, it talks about if you have a cow and you're trying to get a goat, we can exchange.
Yeah.
We can go through the exchange rate.
Yeah.
All Forex is doing is bringing that digitally to you, so you can be able to exchange. Because, for example, we're going to talk about the employment, right? And I'm just going to steal for a second, Mr. Newell. If the unemployment rate goes down in America, that means their currency is going to go up, right? Because instead of they have to pay out more unemployment claims, which is going to take money out of the economy at the moment. That brings the value of the currency down. Now, if you have that information and you know ahead, that's a big trading advantage. Just paying attention to the small fundamental, which would have been the news, right? So you know unemployment is coming out. Say I'm going to throw a fictitious time frame out. Tomorrow at 9
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Tomorrow the first. Every first Friday of the month.
Yeah, you get the numbers.
You have the unemployment number comes out here in the U.S. I mean, all traders wait for that.
Yes.
Because the market moves. Because remember,
On that.
the United States dollar, right, is a baseline for all other currencies around the world.
Yeah.
Right? So at one point, the US dollar was fixed to the gold, and they moved that to using the gold standard. Everything takes the cue off the US dollar. So everything moves and breathes and lives off the US dollar. So whatever is happening on the US dollar affects every other currency, right? So if as Sian just mentioned, if the unemployment rate here goes down, that means that more people are working. That means the economy is booming, right?
Yeah, it's going good.
So the price of the US dollar is going to go up against all other dollars. So as a Forex trader, knowing that, then we look for that, we jump on that, we start buying, those currencies, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but if on the other hand, if we know we have a bad report, the currency is going to come under distress.
Yep.
And we start selling. So you can make money go both ways. With the currency going up and with the going down. Man. It's just like gold. Gold, for instance, for the past couple of weeks, gold shot up to 1550. It has been there for a while. Yeah. A lot of people have been making money off gold.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to AJ. And Donville, it's profound because when you look at the stock market, right?
Yeah.
The stock market, when you invest in a stock, you're technically looking for a company to keep going up. Mm-hmm. If I'm understanding right.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about with foreign exchange market is that you get to make money both ways. Mm-hmm. So if you know market is buying right now, buy. But if market is selling right now, sell. So you're not limited to just the option of sitting in
and
one.
Just waiting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And you can set enter and exit points. For example, I'm gonna use driving down the road. I know if I drive down the block, right, and I just go around that corner, I may fall off the bridge. That's gonna be a stopping point. Stop it right there.
Yeah.
Right. So you can set places where, you know what, if I make this specific amount of money, right, take me out. I don't want to continue anymore. I don't want to make risk. And that's one of the good thing about foreign exchange is that you are in control of your risk. Mm-hmm. No one dictates that. It's not like what you say stock market. Like for example, you're say you're in a stock, which is a company, right?
Yeah.
And you wake up in the morning and the company decide, you know what, we're belly up, we're shut down. All your investment at that point is gone.
No. Yeah.
With foreign exchange, you will never have to worry about that. Because you control the narrative. So, for example, while you're trading, say the United States economy freezes right now. All that basically tells me is that I will not trade the U.S. dollar.
That's right.
That's all it does.
Yeah.
Because
Are you sell it?
Are you sell it? And you're definitely going to be selling it because the economy is going down. Mm-hmm. So whatever ride is going to be taken, and every country is going to look at it as a ride, because as Mr. Newell just said that. They actually go by the U.S. dollar standard, right? Yep. So if that's the standard and the standard is going down, you're going to ride that ride down. And you're riding that ride down with the excitement, like, yo, it's going to go down, but I can't wait for it to come back up.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So you basically can make those rides. And that's where I would say analysis probably comes in.
Yeah, let's start it, right.
You want to go on?
Yeah, definitely. So so you may ask, one of my routine in the evenings when I'm trading is you come in, you have to have quiet because there's concentration involved, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine. So I like to, look at the charts, right? Look at where price is, right? Where price has been, and where it can potentially go. That's all it is, and getting for short pips with the right lot size. When I got started, all I wanted to do was make $200 a day. That was all I wanted to do, make $200 a day. And I did that consistently for over 3 weeks, right? Consistently, right? So the market, you have to know the instruments to trade, right? And of course, you need some help with that. That's where the training comes in, right? Gotcha. So you don't just get into it blindly and just No, you got to be, as I said, remember you riding the bike, you have to have a trainer there, someone balancing you, so you once you get balance on the bike, right? So you have your mommy and daddy has to be helping you to hold the saddle, to balance you until you start getting your balance.
Exactly.
And once you got your balance,
let
off to the
you
races.
go down the street, down the block.
Yeah, I put on the training wheels, right? If you're not there, but once you can keep your balance, those training wheels are off, and it's off to the races.
So I like what you talked about. Getting started. What are the barriers to entry to get into Forex?
The barriers to entry.
Yeah.
Really, right now, there are no barriers.
Wow.
Yeah, there are no barriers.
Oh my
Right.
gosh.
There are no barriers.
You telling me I can do training, start an account
right this minute.
Wow.
The thing is, so yes, there are no barriers, but at the same time, you don't know jump in blind.
Yeah.
Right. You need that training, right? And I'll tell everyone that if you jump in blind and think you're gonna make a fortune tomorrow, wrong.
You'll fall in your face. It's like riding that bike.
Yeah, that's right. Wrong.
Like, I'm gonna go to the store, get the best, biggest bike. I'm gonna hop on it.
I'm right on it.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave the store, get on that bike, and get home.
No, it's not gonna work.
No,
exactly. It's not gonna work. So you need that training. You need that training wheels. Those training wheels to balance. Give you that balance, which you get to practice. Proper risk management, proper money management. But in terms of entry, there is no entry right now because you have brokers that will get you in for as little as $10.
Wow.
Right, start. But no, with an account size of that magnitude, don't expect to make a lot of money initially.
Yeah, you're making baby steps.
Exactly, baby steps, right?
Yeah.
You can press the pennies, right? Right. So, but you have people right now who have resigned their job, and that's all they do on a daily basis.
Wow.
Yeah, I have several friends who have done that. Resign their job. But my quest right now is to help as many people as I can.
Yeah, and we're in the age now where pretty much everyone has access to the internet, whether it's on a mobile phone,
Anywhere
tablet,
you go.
laptop. How as far as mobile technology, can I get into this on a mobile cell phone or even a tablet?
Oh yes.
Wow.
I mean, a mobile phone is really what I use to trade. I'll do my analysis on a computer. I have a desktop.
Yeah.
Right. That I do, and because I train a lot of people right now, I have a desktop with multiple monitors. Really, I can look at multiple things at the same time.
Yeah.
But when I'm gonna trade, I grab my mobile phone and I enter the trade. That's where I trade from.
Oh wow.
My mobile phone, and that is always with me.
And I'm happy Mr. Newell said that because I trade and I trade mobile too, but I love my computer.
Yeah.
Because it helped me to analyze.
Yeah.
I guess Mr. Newell is very good with his eyes. I'm gonna chalk it up as my age. I guess I'm getting a little bit too old, so I see things a little bit more brighter, a little bit more refined on the PC.
Yeah.
But definitely, and I would say this: it doesn't matter where you are in the world,
as long as you have access to the internet.
As long as you have access, you can trade.
Oh yeah,
that's
nice.
it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't, that's a very stress point for me because when I first came across foreign exchange or Forex, my worries was, is this a limited option? When I understand there is zero options. As long as you have the will, the motivation, and the drive, as you said, when art meets preparation.
Yeah. When what is it? Opportunity meets preparation. Yep.
When opportunity meets preparation, this is something you can definitely do because we just talked about riding a bicycle or purchasing it. Now, guys, if anyone has purchased anything in the last 10 years, it comes with a small assembly. If you purchase sneakers, the laces is not all the way laced up. You just got to sit there and lace it up, right? If you buy a bike from the store, they're going to tell you, before you ride it out the store, tighten the brakes, make sure the seats are tightened.
Put air in the tires.
Put air in the tires. So you still have to do small preparational stuff. Now, Mr. Newell, I know you talk about training and people learning. For how would our listeners be able to take advantage of your information? How could they reach you? How could they look at some of the products or ideas for your trading?
Wow. All right. In terms of reach me, they could reach me through you guys. Java, right? So.
Well, yes, Mr. No, but I also know you're very socially inclined as well. So, for example, if you want, I know I'm not sure if you're public or not. You know, we're friends on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So even so, how if anybody would like to look you up and decide to follow you and see some of the stuff that you're doing trading wise, how would they be able to find you?
Well, okay, so I'm on Instagram and I'm also on Twitter, right? Instagram is Anchovy. I think it's Anchovy.
All right, give me 1 second just so I want to make sure I get it right.
Right.
Pull it up and spell it. Come on.
Onchobee, Anchovy. That's the name of my farm. I also have a farm. Of course, guys, when you invest, you have to divest. Is old tune?
Yes.
So
Okay, so guys, just so I can get it correctly, if you want to see, because I know Mr. Noel posts a lot of his partners, people that he trades with, as well as the organization that he's part of. If you would like to find him on Instagram, it will be old, OLD_tune, just like the cartoons, TOON. Just so you can be able to get any information you want from him on Instagram. If you would like to find him on the Facebook, you would have to look up Alvin Newell. It's ALVIN. Last name is Newell, NEWELL. So you can be able to go ahead and look him up. And any questions you
on
have
Twitter, it's Anchovy, or NCHOBE on Twitter. You can check it.
Yes, Anchovy on Twitter.
At Anchovy.
Yes. So just to make sure, if there's any way possible that you guys can, if you have any information, you can reach out. I want to make sure you get that correct.
So, so the thing is, in posting stuff on social media, the company I'm with, they frown on that, and because of us here in the United States, FTC. Well, they don't take kindly to that either. We can post stuff, not that we can't post stuff, but in terms of monetary earnings and all of that.
I say, hey guys, go purchase this one at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can't
so they can't do that, right? They can't do that. So I try to do mostly word of mouth. So we do a lot of that stuff. So, and I do provide training, right, alongside personal. Not one up. Well, personal. I have a team. People who trade. We meet every evening at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. And we trade. People have been really happy with that. I'm making luck. Yeah. And I said, I'm not in this to really. I can make my money, right, anytime I want to, but I want to help as many people as I can, right? That's really my goal.
Yep.
It is so profound that it is not very difficult. It's just a perception. People perceive it as being difficult, but it is not. Right? Yeah. It is not. It really is not. If you really want to learn it, it's not very difficult. And this, to me, this is what the bank has been doing for years.
Yeah.
They're taking your money, and Trevor's money, everybody's money, and they've been trading it on the foreign exchange.
Making money on top of money.
They even make laws allowing them to do that.
Wow.
Yes. The banks legally can take all the money in their account, accumulate it, and go trade it on the foreign exchange market.
Mind you, it's not their money. It's our money.
It's our money, not their money. And legally, by 5 a.m. Eastern, they have to bring all of it back.
Wow.
Yes.
Right? They have to put it back. That's law. So but the banks, they aren't losing. When they trade on the foreign exchange market, they're not losing.
They're trading
because
huge
they are
volumes.
huge. They've got millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
So they move the market.
They are the ones that makes the market.
Yeah.
Right. They makes the market really. The banks, they are the ones that makes the market.
Yeah.
I like to liken it to this. That think of yourself as a surfer, right? You go out, right, and you try to catch that big wave, right? It's not every wave that comes on you're gonna will be able to take you to the shore, right? But there's gonna come a time when that wave that will take you all the way to shore.
Yeah.
And that's all it is, right? As a Forex trader, you have to be patient. You have to be patient, and I can't stress it more. You have to wait for that wave. It's not every wave that comes you're gonna try it, because once you ride on it, it does die out. You're gonna fall right in the water.
And move on.
But there's gonna come a time when that one wave that's gonna take you from out in the deep all the way to the shore.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Yes.
It made me think when you were mentioning the banks. I did some read up on Brexit. It's insane to see what they allowed, the European banks to do. It just made no sense at all.
So they make the rules.
It's crazy.
They make the rules. So as retail traders, we just go along for the ride.
Yeah.
Right. There's nothing we can do about it because they make the rules.
Yep.
They make the rules. So that's why you have to stay on top of your game. You have to know that's, as I said, that's the fundamentals, right? And I remember there are three types of traders: the technical, the fundamental, and sentimental.
Yep.
That's the fundamental. What is happening within the country? So we as retail traders, we know that there's Brexit happening over there. So whenever we're gonna trade anything against the Great Britain pound, you have to be very cautious. You have to know where it's at. You have to get in and out short intervals. You don't, unless you, because right now it is so volatile, it will spike up and then spike down. So, it's opportunities to make money. Yeah. Right? So, but you can't stay in it for the long haul because it goes up. And when you think it's going to go further, it does turn around and come right back down.
Yeah, we see how fast, especially how fast news travels nowadays.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as any type of news travels, you'll see the effects in the economy and the stock market, and I'm sure in the Forex market as well.
Yeah, same thing.
Man.
So yesterday we were trading
seconds of it.
Yeah.
Not even it's an exact. So as the news comes out, if you can enter the trade, and I'm not trying to tell anybody to trade news because news is a highly volatile.
You can't even not know you.
That will be based on expertise because news can take your account and it can make your account. So I want to make sure you need those.
You never know.
You'll never know. But that's why it takes good to be analytic. That's why before you decide to ride a bicycle without I'm gonna say helmet, knee pads, elbow pads, and gloves on, you need to learn how to ride properly first because that's technically what would happen to you if you just decide you're gonna jump into the foreign exchange market without no idea of what to do. So I want to make sure I leave that option open for anyone who wants to do it.
Now I know in the stock market they had this issue where they would have like automation or bots actually committing trades. Mm-hmm. Is that an issue in the Forex market?
There are bots. They're what they call it, expert advisors, but I don't use it. I'm just me. I like to be hands on. Here's the thing, when you have a bot on your account, and with all the news that's happening, and that bot is going crazy, your account can be gone in a jiffy, right? But if I am setting those limits, I can manage my risk. I can manage my losses. I can manage my account at that time. Yeah, those bots are automated, and people will make money off them, but there's a lot more risk. I've heard a lot more horror stories using bots than I've heard successes. But there are bots, and there are also what we call auto traders, things like that. But again, our laws here in the US are a little different from other places in the world, right? Yep. So the FTC they're heavily against auto traders and things like that, right? Are, yes. So
that,
the rules.
One funny thing I read up on is with the stock market, you actually have these auto traders or these bots. They will try to get as close to the New York, like as close to the physical location of the stock market, to be able to have that leverage of being able to execute that trade faster than someone that's over in LA or Midwest. It's crazy how competitive they get.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, but for me personally, I personally, because there advent also of AI in artificial intelligence and trading,
cognitive intelligence.
Yeah, most of the companies that I've seen that sprung up using AI never last long for whatever reason.
Oh yeah,
right. They just come up a month, 2 months, and then die away for whatever reason.
Yeah, I found that technology takes a lot of investment. You got to do a lot of work on the front end before you really implement.
That's right. It has some ways to go still. So because of that, nothing beats the good old technicals. You know, I'm a technical trader.
Yep.
Right. Because the thing is, I ask the question most times: who trades the foreign exchange market?
Yeah.
Individuals, right?
Yep.
If you look, I mean, UBS have a warehouse. That's all they have in their traders.
Wow.
JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
They have a warehouse probably the size of our city here.
Wow.
All they have is people trading foreign exchange.
Physical people
Right?
there.
Physical
Wow.
people. So I say that to say that if people are the ones who are trading the market,
Yeah.
right? We are all are what? Creatures of habits.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So guess what? That's just you can material what's the word I'm looking
monetize?
for? Monetize, but capitalize. You can
Yeah.
capitalize on that fact, right?
Yeah.
In that wherever the market has been in the past, quite possibly it will go there again in the
You'll
future.
see those trends and
you
patterns.
see those trends. So that's why I'm a technical trader. So you see what the market has done in the past,
Yep.
where it's at currently, and where it may go possible. And I mean, if that's really the basis of Forex. And
Wow.
even trading stocks, they have those ebbs and flows, right?
yeah.
So, you can capitalize on those. And
I would say I'm more of a technical trader as well. I mean, even
Yeah.
with the stock market, I
yeah.
started when I was in high school, just as a project, just going through, fake purchasing different stocks
right?
and, investing. And now even today, I personally go through and pick out certain stocks that I see certain trends with. So even with this Forex, I'm very intrigued because even though the stock market is doing very well right now,
Yeah.
it's gonna go
What can
down
happen.
eventually.
So here's the thing with Forex, right?
Yeah.
Right now we can trade what is known as indices. Now
Hmm.
that, my friend, is a real money maker. Traded indices like the US 30. This is 30
Yeah.
of the largest companies in the US. They
Kinda
have
like a
all the
bond.
stocks. All the stocks in a basket, and you trade that.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of buying the stocks themselves, you trade that. You make your money right on the spot. Oil,
Wow.
right? You have the GR 30, which is the same similar thing in Germany. 30 of the largest company in Germany.
Yeah.
All the stocks come into a basket and they trade that. They have the average of it and trade that on a daily basis. That's how you make your money. Crypto, right?
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency. You can trade cryptocurrency, make money, and use that money and actually buy the physical coin if you want. Buy the actual coin.
Wow.
Not physical because you can't go take
Yeah, buy the full coin instead of bits and pieces.
Right,
Yep.
buy and buy the coin. That's
Wow.
what I do. I never take my actual cash and buy a Bitcoin. I trade, and
Yep.
whatever profit I use that and buy the Bitcoin.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, so
Smart man.
Yeah,
Smart man. We'll talk about that off air.
Yeah,
We'll talk about I see where you're going, Mr. Newell. We'll talk about that off air though.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Man.
Mr. Newell, I want to make sure I have two questions just so I can knock them out the way for our listeners, because I know when people hear this, they're going to be very intrigued. So let me just throw this one out here. And guys, I did Google it, just so nobody don't feel like that was a question that I was going to ask. I Googled it, so Google probably had the same question too. Mr. Newell, what would you say was the best trade that you ever made?
The best trade. When you say the best trade, I mean, can you?
Okay, so all right, guys, I'm gonna take my personal experience out of this one. My best trade that I've ever taken was Eurochef. I want to make sure I took it by mistake. No, actually, I think it was Euro JPY, Mr. Newell, and it was a trade that you gave me. In the sense that we were doing some analytic, and we're like, you know what, if price touches here, we may look at it in this direction, and for some reason, I'm not sure what happened, but we looked at the trade and I took the trade and no one else did. But when I put the trade in, I forgot about the trade, guys. So I want to show you how profound this was. This is why you need to have your analytic on point. I took the trade, and the trade's been sitting in there. This is what, about a week and a half go by. The trade didn't get activated because remember we talk about where market can go to specific areas and you can enter and exit. So the trade got activated. I didn't know. went to work, and something said to me, "Yo, see, open your phone and check your trading app." And guys, if anybody is curious to what app I use to trade, I use MetaTrader 4. And I looked at the trade, and it went about 20 pips in profit. Now, not to get into the small details, based on what my lot size is on the account, I made $500. Wow. And that was it was not like, it wasn't a $500 that I technically analyzed myself. It's just the fact that we looked at it and we analyzed it together, and the trade just took a period of time for it to get there. But to me, that was the best trade I ever taken, because I took a trade without even knowing it, and I got out of it without even knowing it. All I did was technically open my account, and remember that I set these parameters, and I had $500 more than I anticipated.
That's good.
So that was the best trade. Now, I'm gonna go through my worst trade. My worst trade is that I took a trade, and this was gold. I analyzed gold, and gold makes some good moves. And this is why it's good. It's good to learn about trading before you start trading specific things or pairs that you don't understand. Made excellent money with gold. Took a trade on gold, and it didn't go my way. Well, let me say it from this. It went my way for a little bit. I made some money, right? But I was like, man,
greed
was a
I didn't want to get out.
We talk about the rise, right?
Yeah.
About that, the ride of the wave. So I thought that wave would have took me to shore. That wave didn't take me to shore. That wave just gave me that. You know when you
dump you.
And you get a little small bump, like, oh, this is a small wave.
Yeah.
I got a little small wave, and then I guess something happened, and I guess a tsunami was getting ready to come in, and I wasn't prepared for it. So the water started sucking back, and I'm like, where's all this water going? And
Where's my wave?
Where's my wave? I need to get back to shore. And unfortunate for me, I got pulled out of the trade, and the trade technically went my direction. It's just that where it pulled back to, for what the parameters that I set for myself, that means that we're talking about risk management. If I risk a certain amount of money, then I want to get out. Now, what I did wrong, I didn't set my risk management in the beginning of the trade.
Or maybe your account size couldn't support that trade.
No, it could have supported, but I basically watched a trade, and I was like, you know what? If I lose another $150, I want to get out. And I have ways to with basically how I trade on the computer to let me know how much money I will be losing. And these are things that Mr. Newell will teach as well, right? Nice. Based on what you're trading and your pips and your lot size. And when I looked at it, I was like, man, if I hit $150, I definitely don't want to lose anymore. And this is how profound it is. Market pulled back to $151.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you were just at the.
It basically hit my limit, and
then turn around.
I went whoop, and went back, and the ride it made the opposite direction. AJ, you should comment on this, because AJ was in the same trade, and AJ laughed at me. He
benefited from this.
Benefited enough that I still got messages that we talk about how good that trade went for him.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah.
Right. So and those are things that you learn by market structure and how to move. And me and him had the same stop loss, but what AJ basically looked at when he was like, look, I was analyzing the pair, and I was like, you know what? I'm willing to lose $160 before I get out. But I was like, man, that $10 was a little bit too much extra in my mind.
150 sound like a real good number for you.
It did sound like a good number, and that was the worst trade I've ever made, in the sense that, because I felt that if I would have just analyzed a little bit better, I would have been laughing a little bit harder to the bank.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the reason why.
But you learned from it, though. That's the more important part. Yeah.
So you are okay. So now I know the premise under which you're asking the question. So let me preface by saying that past performance is not indicative of future performance profits, right? So so with that, my best trade was 70,000 in about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yes. In 10 minutes. And my worst was, I think, about 90K was one loss I've sustained.
Wow.
Yeah. But even then, guys, I mean, I don't call those losses. Those are learning, right? Learning experience, learning, because that taught me to have a thick skin, so to speak. It's gonna happen. You win or you lose, right?
Yep.
But that, because that allows me to be in a situation where I know that, okay, so you get it out of your system, right?
Yeah.
That's out. That's no, okay, so I lost $90,000. Okay, good. That's out. That's done.
Yep.
Time to go make it back and make more, right? Which was what I did. So that helped me on my way to 7 figures.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to get into this, to be honest.
So guys, I want to make sure you guys understand, this is what the financial revolution is the fact that we have people out here, and I'm not to knock a 9 to 5, because I would like to say this, a lot of people,
I still have my 9 to 5.
because we like our benefits. It's nice to go to the doctor, and then when they're like, oh, this bill is $200, but because of your insurance or your copay, it's going to be $25. I'll pay that, guys.
Yeah, there's lots of benefits that come with that 9 to 5.
And I wave our hands on it. But with the financial revolution, and what the revolution stands for, is in the sense that you don't technically have to break your back anymore.
There's another opportunity, another way.
And there's other ways.
There's other ways, yeah.
You know?
There's help.
There is help.
Yeah.
So guys, I want to give us a special thank you, Mr. Newell, for joining us today, for giving us the financial revolution and giving us a path to foreign exchange that is more than profound. Normally, Mr. Newell, as you mentioned from last week, we do the positive note. I think I'm gonna give you the I want you to do the positive note for me again this week, because I like yours from last week. And I think, Trev, I want you, if you want to chop up the ratchet thought of the week.
Okay.
So, guys, thank you for having me on this week. I hope you invite me back.
Oh yes, definitely come back, Mr. Newell.
Right. So, a good friend of mine, told me years ago, and I've always held on to this, that there's a thin line between someone who really wants something and someone who is a nuisance. So it's for us to find that thin line, right?
Yeah.
It's a very thin line between someone who really, really wants something and between someone who is a nuisance, right? Yep. So I know Sian wanted me to come on this podcast, so he didn't went over that thin line. He went right there. It didn't become a nuisance, but he wanted to get me on, so he persisted and persevered and got me on. So yes, remember that. It's a very thin line between someone who really, really wants something and someone who is a nuisance. So it's for you to find that thin line. Don't breach it, but take it all the way up to that thin line.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So
Trev.
Yeah, that's you.
I didn't know Trevor was still on.
I'm sorry. Right. Trust, I'm making sure this thing was recording the whole time. Yes. I'm watching wavelines. Anyway, so ratchet thoughts. Only thing I could think of for this past week is, if you're going to commit yourself to something, be sufficient in it. Sorry for whoever is a fan, but Kanye West album sucked.
Yes, it is. One Pot Podcast, guys. We out. One Pot Podcast, guys. We out.
We will discuss this off air.
Oh, man.